gonna clear out a lot of people, is what I'm saying.
It'll clear out some people, sure.
Yeah.
Is that useful?
If you need someplace to stay,
Mordenkainen's Privum Sanctum is a 6th level spell that neither of us are particularly high on.
yeah, but this is funny. You're staying at somebody else's place, eating their
Got
food.
it. Got it. This is a way for Bob to Airbnb wherever he wants. I understand.
Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we're talking about the spell Antipathy / Sympathy.
Aww. Oh.
Brilliant.
Thanks, I'm a thespian. What can I say? I'm an actor. This is an 8th level spell with a casting time of an hour.
Yeah, but
1
it's got
hour.
a duration of 10 days.
It does have a duration of 10 days. That's a good point. Its range is 60 foot and a 200-foot cube. It requires magic material components, those material components being a lump of alum soaked in vinegar for the antipathy effect or a drop of honey for the sympathy effect. I think one of those things is harder to find than the other, but I don't know. Maybe alum is everywhere back in the day. And it's enchantment school, again, 8th level spell. This is for druids and wizards. So, spell attracts or repels creatures of your choice. You target something within range, either a huge or smaller object or a creature or an area that is no larger than a 200-foot cube. Then specify a kind of intelligent creature, such as red dragons, goblins, or vampires. You invest the target with an aura that either attracts or repels specified creatures for the duration. Choose antipathy or sympathy as the aura's effect. And again, that'll depend on which one of the material components you used, assuming you're tracking that kind of thing at all. So, Antipathy. The enchantment causes creatures of the kind you designated to feel an intense urge to leave the area and avoid the target. When such a creature can see the target or comes within 60 feet of it, the creature must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or become frightened. A creature remains frightened while it can see the target or is within 60 feet of it. While frightened by the target, the creature must use its movement to move to the nearest safe spot from which it can't see the target. If the creature moves more than 60 feet from the target and can't see it, the creature is no longer frightened, but the creature becomes frightened again if it regains sight of the target or moves within 60 feet of it. Do you think it would be beneficial to break this down now, or should I just keep reading and we just do all of it at once?
Let's keep going. I think we can have a more fluid conversation if we just go for it, because I don't want to, remember something later and then have to go back to one of them.
So yeah, that's Antipathy. So Sympathy says, the enchantment causes the specified creatures to feel an intense urge to approach the target while within 60 feet of it, or able to see it. Same thing as before. Yep. When such a creature can see the target or comes within 60 feet of it, it makes a wisdom saving throw, or it must use its movement on each of its turns to enter the area or move within reach of the target. When the creature has done so, it can't willingly move away from the target. So once it can see it, it has to, if it fails the save, move at the thing until it's in the thing, or as close to the thing as it can get.
Yeah.
If the target damages or otherwise harms, if the target of its sympathy damages or otherwise harms an affected creature, the affected creature makes a wisdom saving throw to end the effect, as described below. And then has ending the effect. If an affected creature ends its turn while not within 60 feet of the target or able to see it, the creature makes a wisdom saving throw. On a successful save, the creature is no longer affected by the target and recognizes the feeling of repugnance or attraction as magical. In addition, a creature affected by the spell is allowed another wisdom saving throw every 24 hours while the spell persists. A creature that successfully saves against the spell is immune to its effects for 1 minute, after which time it can be affected again. This thing is weird.
I love this spell.
Why?
Because I see. I kind of wish it wasn't 8th level, because you're getting toward the end of your campaign, which is where I feel it's most effective. However, I would have liked it if you had put it on your character sheet a long time ago, and you and your DM both kind of forgot it was there, but then you whip it out and it saves the day.
How? It takes an hour to cast.
All right.
This isn't the kind of thing you just whip out and it suddenly works, right?
That's why it's good for such high tier play, because this is the mechanisms are in motion for these world changing events. Something's coming or something's here that needs to be driven away. So if All right, so you find your hour. You cast this and alter things in a big way.
Okay. I think there's like 3 million problems with this realistically working. And that makes me go, I don't ever foresee a real campaign where this is actually effective at doing something.
I'm we have this conversation a lot, and usually I'm swayed by your arguments, but I don't think so this time.
Okay, step number 1. You need
Yes.
a thing that you
Yes.
can have everything around you that you care about it, around it that you care about, can see it in order for the effect
Yes.
to work at all. Do anything at all.
Right.
So you need like an incredibly high bell tower or something. You need some ridiculously high, very noticeable object that everything from miles around can see if we're looking
Right.
at that kind of tier of effect, right?
The highest spire of the castle. Yes.
So we've narrowed it to be usable when defending giant cities that have very tall towers.
Yes.
Okay.
But you can
How
also
many?
cast it on like, a giant rock at the top of a mountain.
Okay. Why would you cast it on a very large rock at the top of a mountain? What happens if things
Because
are on the other side of the mountain?
look, then you deal with that when it comes up. All right, so you're only affecting half the world. I can live with that.
It doesn't affect everything either. It affects a type of creature. And it's
Yes.
not like full species type, it's like subset of species type. So like where
It was
this is
kind of vague on that.
it is very vague on that, but the examples it gives are red dragons, which are
Yeah.
not all dragons, it's a specific subset of dragons, goblins, which is a specific subset of humanoids, and vampires, which is a specific subset of undead, which to
Yes.
me signals I can't say demons. I have to say the kind of demon I want this to affect. I can't say fiends. I can't say celestials. Pardon. I have to say orcs. I have to say ogres. I have to say one of those specific types, right?
Probably. It's open to DM interpretation.
Additionally, I'd like to point out countermeasures to this that are really brain dead stupid. Visors are a countermeasure to this. Going like this with your hand is a countermeasure to this, right?
Yeah, maybe. No, no.
Doesn't that just
Well,
make this fall apart?
not according to the rules. I mean, like, if they can see it, I mean,
They can't. I can no longer see my camera. I've done it.
yeah. I don't know. Maybe I took that to mean if it's within their line of sight, but that's not what's written. You're right.
True. Additionally, like this is the kind of effect that will only affect ones of encounters per campaign at most, right?
Yeah, I'm with you there.
So like when are you putting this on your character? I guess druids have it easier because they can just prepare this for that encounter, right? But like you have for this, like the checkboxes that we're looking at that are narrowing into what kind of encounter it is. 1, you're fighting against large quantities of a very specific enemy. 2, there's a high vantage point that all those enemies can see. 3, you care about frightening those enemies, and those enemies can be frightened. And 4,
Or luring them.
you have an hour to prep this. So there's so many hoops to jump through in the situation where you'd consider casting it. Where
Yeah.
I'm like, this is actually just uncastable trash that's cool in theory, but will never realistically be cast at any table ever.
I've never gotten this high level for a character, but if I did, I'd be taking this as soon as I could get it and looking for opportunities. Even
You go to the
even
top of
if
your
it's
pirate ship and you say merfolk, and they can't see out of the water to be affected by it.
well, I'm not using it for that.
You're not using it ever, is my point.
That's not true. I'm going to use it whether I need it or not.
So you're gonna be like every hour. All right, DM, I got 1/8 level
No,
spell
not
slot for the day.
every hour.
When
I'm,
that's
I'm look. If the campaign's almost over and I haven't had a chance to make the big impact with this, yeah, I'm gonna give it a whirl anyway, and just for fun.
And again, I just don't think there's going to be realistic times where you're going to say, this is a moment where I not even want to, where I can cast this. I think is where I'm coming at it, right?
You can cast it anytime you want.
Yeah, and then nothing happens. Like,
Sure,
I just suggested, oh, I'm not casting it on the top of the boat for the merfolk that are invading our ship.
Well, no, not for that. I'm casting it for the humans in the city. Just drive them all out of town for 10 days and go live in their houses or whatever.
The humans in the city that can see the highest vantage point, like roofs get in the way of this. Other buildings get in the way of this. A lot of people are going to remain unaffected by this.
They're going to, walk out in the street. Oh, look at the oh God, I gotta run away.
They're going to walk. Okay, when you walk out into a city street, you can't see, like, I can't see downtown Pittsburgh from a random place in Pittsburgh. Their buildings in the way.
Sure, it's gonna clear out a lot of people. Is what I'm saying.
It'll clear out some people. Sure, Is that useful?
If you need someplace to stay.
Mordenkainen's Privum Sanctum is a 6th level spell that neither of us are particularly high on.
Yeah, but this is funny. You're staying at somebody else's place, eating their food.
Got it. This is a way for Bob to Airbnb wherever he wants. I understand. I've been flip-flopping on this spell a lot. I am back to thinking this is actually uncastable hot trash that probably should not function in this current state. I think it's really cool. I like that it exists. It's just bad. It's way too much effort to get any kind of real lasting effect out of this. The moment there's a moderate, like more than 2 of a creature type in an army, it falls apart. You go, oh, this is a diverse city that's only 30% humans, falls apart.
I don't even think that's the case. I mean, if you know the army is descending on you, and whatever you find a place to cast this, you find your hour. All right, there's more than one creature type coming. Getting rid of half of them for a little while is helpful.
Getting rid of the half that fail the save.
Yes.
So, and then, okay, there's also the big question, right? Okay, when we're looking, like, talking as a DM from a perspective of what's the point of an invading army? What's the point of this set piece encounter, right? I don't expect my players to physically kill each individual orc that is sieging this city. I don't expect my players to engage with 99.9% of those orcs. The heroes of most D&D adventures, even in the highest of high tiers, they're an elite hit squad, because by the nature of martial characters, they have to be. Because if they don't have 1 or 2 things to attack, they're just not going to function. There's different games where you can just be like, everyone's a wizard. Now we're going to play a top-down, highly strategic, like, army mobilization game that really doesn't fit well with Dungeons & Dragons core gameplay loop, but I mean, hypothetically, you could do that with like top-tier wizards that have these kinds of resources. But if we're looking at like fighters, monks, barbarians, paladins even, we're looking at you're fighting 1 or 2 large enemies with some of their lackeys on the side that are coming in to get some damage in, right? The spellcasters are crowd controlling them out, but you're not dealing with 10,000 orcs. The point of the 10,000 orcs is to give a sense of stakes, of danger, to increase the drama of the situation, right? When a city is falling, your job is to kill the leaders of the invading army, not the invading army itself, generally speaking. Antipathy, Sympathy, I think, is a cool effect that you say the wizard of the inner city has, and it's keeping the city held together at bay. That could be you in this instance if you really want to use your 8th level spell slot for that, but then you're not going to have an 8th level spell slot when you go do the actual fight that matters. And that's where I'm like, oh, all of a sudden this exists as a world building tool, not really as something that I'd expect in my player's toolbox.
Yeah, I mean, it still matters.
It's a narrative mattering, right?
Yeah.
If you didn't do that, the DM would be like, the city's close to falling. The guards are holding the walls as best they can. Go! And then if you cast Antipathy Sympathy, you go, oh, the Antipathy Sympathy is keeping them at bay just barely, but you don't know how long you have. Go! And that's the exact same outcome.
All right, probably. I don't know. I still like it.
It's cool. Undoubtedly cool. I'll give you that.
Sympathy. Again, you got time to prepare.
Bob, I swear to God, if you start taking people's like coin purses with this,
no. I'm there's enemies everywhere. I'm ready for a fight. We're all hiding in the woods, or we're hiding in a meadow because we need to be visible. But we're all lying on the ground in the tall grass. Oh God, I hope nobody finds us in the next hour. In the meantime, I'm casting my spell. Also, all my friends dug a big trench around us, big moat. And and we lit it on fire.
You're really selling it.
We lit the fire just before the spell was ready to go up. The big beacon in the sky, or we got it on a kite or something. Everybody starts coming toward us. They can't resist the lure of the sweet honey, and they fall in the moat of fire. Good times.
I'm gonna level with you. I think I have more applicable uses for feign death at making plans than that. I think I could find more ways that breaking into a morgue could be valuable than that convoluted mess of a plan.
That's my plan's fun though.
Sure, I agree. And I think a lot of plans with Feign Death could be fun, but it's certainly not redeeming the spell.
Well, that's where we'll have to agree to disagree.
Okay. So Antipathy Sympathy wasn't even like the valuable thing there. The valuable thing there was the walls of flames that were consuming everyone.
Well, they wouldn't be, because nobody's going to voluntarily walk into
What
a
if you
moat of
brought
flames.
the flames to them with like a meteor sword or a fireball or a series of fireballs?
That's something else your friends can do while this is going on. Good times to be had by all.
I'm giving this a 1. It deserves a 1. It is that
No
unusable of a
way.
spell. Yes. It is that unusable as well. I'm convinced. I think the quantity of hoops you have to jump through for this to do anything at all in the niche encounters where it's supposed to be good makes this a cool world building tool that, again, exists to help a narrative. It exists as a narrative DM tool that you stick on your wizards, that they stick on magic items on top of giant towers to keep cities protected. That's its job. And as a spell for that tool, sure, it's fine. It has no business ever going on a character sheet.
Yeah, I again disagree. I think in this video I came up with some fun uses, some workable uses that it's going to be DM dependent perhaps. But
Do you think you've ever had a party that would be like, all right, let's commit to this hour-long plan where half of us are digging trenches and the other half are lighting it on fire while you cast the spell? Do you think you've ever played at a table that would meaningfully get that to come together?
maybe not, but short rest, I can do this at least. They don't have to dig the trench. They'll just wish they had when the zombies start coming. Yeah, and like I said, I came up with some stuff that I think is fun and workable, and I think there's plenty more opportunities for things I haven't thought of. And I got to give this not a 4 or 5, but a solid 3. Imagination. All right.
Sure. You gave Mirage Arcanum? No, not that one. What's the one that makes the illusions that could be literally whatever you want? A 1? It was your worst on a Warlock spell list recently. Changes 150 feet of something into a
Oh yeah, that one's garbage.
illusionary terrain. Sorry,
yeah.
illusionary terrain. You gave that. You said that was your worst.
Yes.
Which is illusion that can be literally anything. Okay.
But not believable at all because it's a freaking cube that's not very big. We're not talking about that spell right now.
I know. I just find the logic kind of falls apart for me. That's all.
All right.
Commenters, let us know where you fall in this divide. Evidently, this is contentious.
Let us know some more fun, creative uses that I didn't come up with in this video. And let us know how you've used it, if you have. You have something to say?
Nothing. No, you're fine. I'm just reading how bad it is again. And I'm like, God.
All right, let us know what you think down in the comments. That was Antipathy, Sympathy, and thank you for joining. Thank you, Sam, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.